What happens when a nation's law enforcement crosses the threshold of another country's embassy? Is it a violation of international law? Welcome to the complex world of diplomatic relations, where the recent actions of Ecuadorian police have sparked a firestorm of controversy. In a move that has shocked many, they stormed the Mexican embassy in Quito to arrest former Vice President Jorge Glass, who was seeking asylum there. Now, this isn't just about one person's arrest. It's about the sanctity of diplomatic premises and the concept of diplomatic immunity under international law. Embassies are considered inviolable territory of the represented state, a principle rooted in the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations. This means that local law enforcement usually can't just walk in and make an arrest. But what happens when they do? Well, it's seen as a serious violation of international law. And that's exactly what Mexico has condemned it as, announcing the severance of diplomatic relations with Ecuador. This incident has set off a diplomatic row between the two nations, leading to Mexico severing ties with Ecuador. When international law is flouted, the repercussions can be far-reaching. Let's delve deeper into this situation. The recent arrest of former Vice President Jorge Glass by Ecuadorian police in the Mexican embassy in Quito is a stark example of this. The act of storming an embassy, a territory that is generally considered inviolable under international law, has serious legal implications. It's not just a breach of diplomatic norms, but an affront to the Vienna Convention, a treaty that governs diplomatic relations among nations. Mexico, in response, has announced plans to file a complaint with the International Court of Justice. The ICJ, often called the World Court, is the principal judicial organ of the United Nations. Its role is to settle legal disputes submitted by states in accordance with international law. This move by Mexico underscores the gravity of the situation and sets the stage for a significant legal battle on an international platform. But this incident doesn't just have legal implications, it's also deeply ensnared in the political landscape of both nations. Mexican President López Obrador's criticism of Ecuador's recent elections has further fueled the tensions. Politics and diplomacy are intrinsically linked, and this situation illustrates just how intertwined they can be. The criticism from the Mexican president suggests a lack of confidence in the democratic processes of Ecuador, a sentiment that can strain the relationship between these two nations. It's a political chess move that could have repercussions beyond this particular incident, potentially impacting future diplomatic relations, trade agreements, and regional cooperation between Mexico and Ecuador. It's also worth noting that political dissatisfaction can often lead to public unrest. Depending on how the situation unfolds, it could lead to protests, civil unrest, or even influence the political discourse in both countries. The tensions between the two countries have escalated, leading to a series of diplomatic provocations. While the immediate legal and political implications are clear, the long-term effects of this incident remain to be seen. As we navigate these murky diplomatic waters, one thing is certain: the world will be watching. The ripple effects of this incident are being felt far beyond the borders of Ecuador and Mexico. In the immediate aftermath, Ecuador made the drastic move of expelling Mexico's ambassador. A clear signal of their disapproval, this action has only served to escalate tensions, pushing the two nations further apart on the diplomatic stage. This fallout, however, isn't solely confined to these two countries. There's a ripple effect that is being felt across the Latin American region and beyond. Other nations are watching closely, evaluating their own diplomatic strategies and alliances in light of these unfolding events. The potential future implications are manifold and could dramatically reshape the political landscape of the region. For instance, should the International Court of Justice rule in favor of Mexico, it could put significant pressure on Ecuador, possibly leading to sanctions or other forms of international censure. Conversely, a ruling in favor of Ecuador could embolden other nations to take similar actions, potentially undermining the sanctity of diplomatic asylum. Moreover, this situation may also prompt other countries to intervene, either diplomatically or through other means, to prevent further escalation. The role of larger powers, such as the United States or the European Union, could be pivotal in determining the trajectory of this dispute and its wider ramifications. The diplomatic storm between Ecuador and Mexico underscores the importance of international law in maintaining peace and order. But it also raises the question: who ensures that international law is respected?